welcome to another video. No need to wait for the countdown timer to complete. Today is going to be a part 2 on making your audio epic. That's right, so audio automation when you're using live streams. This is part 2 from a video I did a few months ago on how I make my audio automated when I'm switching between scenes doing live streams. Now I use Ecamm Live as my tool of choice for live streaming, but this will work pretty much, I think, with anything. What I'm using is a Stream Deck with multi-actions, and I've got a very simple workflow for my music. I have a microphone plugged in here, goes into an outboard mixer, let's say the Rodecaster 2, for example, but it could be anything like that with a USB interface. And then I'm streaming music from Spotify. In fact, it's an offline playlist that I'm using via Spotify. It's going through Ecamm in the system audio, so that's what you're hearing now. But what I wanted to do is when I'm switching between scenes, particularly things like Be Right Back or the end screen or where I'm not presenting, where I'm not talking, I want the music to be loud, me to be muted, and then when I'm talking to you like I am now, I do want the music to fade down a little bit in the background, keep it playing the same track, but obviously not be overpowering. So how I do that is pretty simple, and I'm going to show you right now. So I'm just using 3 things: Ecamm Live, Stream Deck, and Spotify, and a couple of workflow automations within Stream Deck called multi-actions. So let's take a look first of all at Stream Deck. So my Stream Deck setup is pretty straightforward. I've got a couple of actions that I'm setting up here for the respective scenes, and I'll just show you what I'm doing with the countdown scene. So the one that you heard at the beginning was the countdown timer. The music was played high, and my audio was actually disabled for my microphone. It was muted, and it was muted using the Ecamm mute function within the sound levels of the Ecamm. So if you look at Ecamm real quick, you can see that there's a different set of mixers within here. I'm using the Rodecaster for the audio that you're hearing right now, and then the system audio plugin that comes with Ecamm is the one that you're listening to. So whatever I play on my Mac is what you listen to, and right now all I'm playing is Spotify. Now I've set this to around 67, and that's important because I'm using that as sort of the master mix. So when Spotify is at the max in terms of volume, it's only ever going to be at around 67, how I've configured it within Ecamm. So let's go back to Stream Deck. So within Stream Deck, the functions are pretty simple. In my countdown, I've got a couple of actions going on, and this is a multi-action button or multi-action function. The first one is to run the scene, which is the countdown timer, and then I want it to play my next track on Spotify. Now if you look here, Ecamm's got a lot of different plugins. Spotify ones are very basic: play, pause, toggle, and so on. I was hoping that the volume would actually allow you to set a percentage volume for that particular track, and unfortunately it didn't do that. What it only does is allow you to put the volume up or down as if you were pressing the button all the time, like a volume button. So what you have to do is, to get the volume to turn down or turn up in this case, is add multiple instances of the same action. Now for me, it doesn't really matter. What I did is I added around 11 of these or 9 of these, so it's as if I'm turning the volume up each time, which sort of simulates a fade anyway, and that's why it's important to max out the volume on the actual Spotify and then control the volume level within Ecamm. So if I just go back to the countdown timer, you'll hear the volume slowly increment as a fade, and that's the result of having all these respective actions run one after the other. And there's a slight delay between each one anywhere, like 100 milliseconds, so it is simulating a little fade. So let's go to the countdown timer real quick. So as you heard, the volume increased when I went to the countdown timer, and then decreased when I went to this particular scene where I'm talking. So if you look at Spotify, the volume is around set to 1/3, but when I go to the scene where I want music to be played at full level, it just whacks the volume up to the max, and then, as I mentioned, it's all controlled by what I'm doing within Ecamm. So if I go back to the multi-action settings in Stream Deck, if I just go to another one, so I've got an end credit one, which is another interesting one. So on the end credit, I just want to say thanks for watching, a little subscribe animation that plays, which is on the scene itself. But I've got like a ton of actions going on here, which is nonsense, I know, but there's no easy way of doing it at the moment, unless there's an update to Spotify that just allows me to set a fade. But you'll see what I'm doing right now. So I basically change the scene, so it's my end credit scene, and then I'm going to whack up that volume multiple times to the max. And then what I've got in here is a little delay of approximately 20 seconds, and that's going to delay for 20 seconds before I then start to fade the volume down as if I'm, you know, finishing the stream properly. And then I've got an action at the bottom to basically end the stream, save the recording, whatever I'm doing, and it does that automatically. So that's pretty cool, and I'm going to action that in a second. But I would be interested to understand, what does your audio setup look like? Is it something like this with Stream Deck? Is it with Spotify? What is it like? Always interested to find out. Appreciate you watching. It's always good to try and teach you a few different things. I'm pretty new to live streaming, not a hardcore gamer or live streamer. I just like giving people some insights into what I'm doing, a little bit of knowledge and things like that. So anyway, if you like this video, you know what to do. Until the next one, thanks for watching, and now let's try that action. Let's see if it works. Remember, 20 seconds or so on. Let's wait for it. Let's go.
Thank you. Bye-bye.